Welcome back to Encouraging the Misfit. Hey guys, so I kind of want to just go deep straight into the controversial issues today. One thing that has obviously been a big deal, especially the last year with everything that went on with June, July, and August, I think, of 2020. It was a big deal. There was a lot of stuff going on. A lot of it had to do with the term of police brutality, right? And so there was a lot of protests happening, and then just segregation on top of segregation, right? Of different groups through that. And so first of all, today I just want to talk about how does the Christian respond to these things? How does the Christian respond to racism? How does it respond to sexism or any problem that are kind of on the same lines? So first of all, let's point out something. There's like two main camps of Christians, okay? And you've probably noticed this too, but there's like the people that like don't at all like to get into these topics, right? They like to avoid them at all costs. Let's not get into controversy. Let's not stir up trouble of any kind, right? And then you probably also notice that there's another group of people that are the exact opposite. They do not care if they stir up trouble. They do not care about controversy at all. They're like, this is what's right. This is how it is. This is my opinion. And yeah, so on and so forth. And you probably know exactly who I'm talking about, and you can probably think of a name right now of someone. But anyway, I just kind of want to talk about this middle ground in the middle, with a biblical and Christian perspective, just because sometimes we have been called, to, call out what's wrong, call out what's immoral, and be the first person to speak up. But there's also many times that we are called to not speak, to take a step back and be silent. And I just want to talk when it comes to racism and sexism, right? I hear this question a lot of how do we end racism? What do we need to do to end it, kind of thing. And it's such a broad topic, and the truth is if we focus on that question, we are going to lose sight of how we can be faithful and obedient to the Lord through the everyday problems of when it comes to that stuff, right? And so instead of asking how do we end racism, just because we do live in a corrupt and fallen world, and the truth is we might never ever get to the end of racism. I mean, we were having segregation issues in Bible times, right? Everybody knows the story of Jesus and the woman at the well. That was a huge issue just because not only was she a woman, but she was Samaritan. And that was a big issue then, and it's still a big issue now. And so let's talk about our response to this stuff instead, because that's one thing that we can control, is how we respond when someone either is being a racist or someone's making racist comments, right? I don't want to get into what is and what isn't. That's a completely different topic. But what is our job as a Christian when we hear comments like this being made, when we are faced with racism or sexism kind of thing? And so first of all, let's just like look at the example of Jesus, right? Let's go back to the example of Jesus and the Samaritan woman, right? First of all, Jesus was here to break down racial barriers, right? He was here to share the gospel to every single person on the planet. And what I mean by that is he didn't come just to save the Jews. He came to save the Gentiles. And that was the whole message of the gospel, is everyone has fallen short of Christ, but the Lord came and loved everyone and came to die for them. So that's the message of the gospel. And so we have been called to share that with everyone. And so how should we respond to racism? Is we should turn those into opportunities to share the gospel, right? If someone is making comments such like that, and they are putting their pride at first, and they think they are better than someone else, right? They haven't experienced God's love in a deep and intimate way. So why do we take those opportunities just to call them out, right? You're racist, you're sexist. I hear those all the time coming out of Christian mouths, and yet we never take those opportunities to share Christ and share that we've all been made unique, all been made in God's image, right? And so I encourage you, next time that you encounter sexist comments from someone, and even if they are targeted to you, use that as an opportunity to share Christ, right? It is easy to get offended. It is easy to get mad. It is easy to get angry, but it is a hard thing to look the other way and to share the gospel and share love with them. And I've had a lot of people, I've had a couple of people tell me, like, this isn't a topic that you need to speak on, right? You are not black. You've never dealt with racism, and that's true. I've never ever once had a racial comment made about me, so I don't know what it's like. But I am a Christian. I know what it is like to be segregated because of what I believe in, right? And we all at some point have experienced what it is like to be segregated, even if it's not racism. But the thing is, God calls us to love on our neighbor and love on our enemy, right? He came to die for sinners. Not for his best friends, not for the people that he liked, right? And we have to remember the same people that were waving palm trees at him were planning to kill him the next week. And so we just look at opportunities, right? It's not about us. It's about God's glory. And if we were to start taking those people that do make sexist comments and racist comments, and we were to start sharing the Lord with them, what a different atmosphere would be, right? Because we would start taking this identity issue of people's identity in ethnicity, in sexuality, gender, and we would start focusing it back on the Lord and what he has for us.